You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Good morning, I'm Chrissie De Clerck-Szilagyi.
And I'm Jason Szilagyis with today's Caffeinated History with the Szilagyis on the BQN Podcast Collective.
Before we jump into our topic for the day, we'd like to take a moment to thank our BQN Patreon patrons who make this show possible. Listeners, with a monthly Patreon subscription of just $5 or more, you can support our network and join our meetings of the Hive Mind on the second Saturday of each month. Watch your Patreon messages for details. Today's topic is the 1978 case, Federal Communications Commission versus Pacifica Foundation. The First Amendment to the United States Constitution establishes that, quote, Congress shall make no law abridging freedom of speech or of the press, end quote. But how to define an abridgment has been argued since its establishment. As new mediums became available for the transmission of speech, the question of how much regulation could be applied usually waited until someone brought the case in front of a federal court. The issue was handled for broadcast media, radio and TV delivered over the airwaves, in the 1978 Supreme Court case, Federal Communications Commission versus Pacifica Foundation. The case was prompted by a complaint in 1973 by John Douglas against the New York City radio station WBAI for their airing of the track Filthy Words from George Carlin's recently released album, Occupation Fool. Douglas objected to the fact that his 15-year-old son was exposed to the material while they were in the car at 2 p.m. He argued that the material was indecent and inappropriate for the time of day. Douglas's complaint was not entirely unprompted. He was an active member of the conservative organization Morality in Media, now known as the National Center on Sexual Exploitation, which sought to outlaw anything it deemed inappropriate or obscene. The list of what they oppose includes pornography, the decriminalization of sex work, sex education in schools, and any acknowledgement of the realities of gender and sexual orientation, as well as many other related things. Douglas's complaint was heard by the FCC, who essentially gave the owner of WBAI, the Pacifica Foundation, a warning. They did not issue any sanctions on the company, but did place a note in their file for future reference on such issues. Pacifica appealed the decision to the D.C. Court of Appeals, who ruled 2-1 in favor of Pacifica, indicating that the FCC had improperly censored the station. The FCC appealed this ruling, which led to it being heard by the Supreme Court of the United States in April 1978. The question of censorship of speech that was obscene, rather than merely indecent, had already been dealt with in earlier cases, establishing that obscenities are not protected by the Free Speech Clause of the First Amendment. The Carlin routine was deemed indecent because it dealt with sexual and excretory themes, but was not explicit about these. The court ruled 5-4 in favor of the FCC, finding that it had the right to restrict indecent language on broadcast media. Justice John Paul Stevens' opinion stated that the routine was not political in nature and therefore did not have the protection of political speech. He added that the restriction was reasonable because the medium is so easily accessible to children. The dissent, authored by Justices William Brennan and Thurgood Marshall, argued that it was not the FCC's place to censor speech, particularly when the argument was in part that the speech was unacceptable for one group, young minors, but acceptable for others, older minors and adults. It is important to note that the court specified broadcast media. The ruling does not apply to non-broadcast media, such as cable and subscription streaming services. Even so, commercial cable stations, such as CNN, AMC, and MTV, tend to self-censor so as not to create tension with their advertisers. After this ruling, the FCC issued several limitations on the broadcast of material deemed indecent or profane. For example, this is the origin of the rule that allows some types of, quote, indecency to be broadcast between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., meaning that the host of a late-night talk show can say shit, but the sitcoms that aired a few hours earlier cannot. These rules have been relaxed somewhat in the last few decades, but the general idea has remained. This case is sometimes erroneously referred to as FCC v. George Carlin because of the material prompting the case. In fact, he was not actually involved in the suit, though he did deal with legalities surrounding his material. A few months prior to the initial complaint against WBAI, Carlin was arrested on charges of disturbing the peace for performing the same routine at Milwaukee's Summerfest. The attention from these issues assured that Carlin made the 7 dirty words a centerpiece of his shows for years to come. On a personal note, and as you may know if you listen to any of the other podcasts I've been on, my parents censored little. Cassettes of George Carlin's shows were a staple on road trips. One of the most important lessons this taught my sister and I is one Carlin himself emphasized. Words are just words, and it's how they're used that is the important part. To that end, I've included here the uncensored clip that prompted the case. Enjoy!
Rubadoo, rubadoo, rubadoo. Then I was thinking about the curse words and the swear words, the cuss words, and the words you can't say, you're not supposed to say all the time. Because people are into words, they want to hear your words. Some guys like to record your words and sell them back to you if you can. Listen in on your telephone, write down what words you say. A guy used to be in Washington, knew that his phone was tapped, used to answer it. Fuck Hoover, yes, go ahead. Okay. And I was thinking one night about the words you couldn't say on the public airwaves. The ones you definitely couldn't say, ever. Because I heard a lady say bitch one night on television, and it was cool, like she was talking about, and the bitch is the first one to notice that in the literature, Johnny, right? All right. And bastard you can say, and hell and damn. So I had to figure out which ones you couldn't, and ever, and it came down to 7, but the list is open to amendment, and in fact has been changed by now. A lot of people pointed things out to me, and I noticed some myself. The original 7 words were shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. Those are the ones that'll curve your spine, grow hair on your hands, and maybe even bring us, God help us, peace without honor. What a burden. And now the first thing that we noticed was that the word fuck was really repeated in there because the word motherfucker is a compound word and it's another form of the word fuck. If you want to be a purist, it can't be on the list of basic words. Also, cocksucker is a compound word, and neither half of that is really dirty. The half sucker, that's merely suggestive. And the word cock is a halfway dirty word, 50% dirty half the time, depending on what you mean by it. Remember when you first heard, in 6th grade, you used to giggle, and the cock crowed 3 times. Hey, the cock 3 times, it's in the Bible, cock is in the Bible. And the first time you heard about a cockfight, remember? What? No, it ain't that. It's chickens, Then you have the 4-letter words from the old Anglo-Saxon fame, shit and fuck. The word shit is an interesting kind of word in that the middle class has never really accepted it and approved it. They use it like crazy, but it's not really okay. It's still a rude, dirty, old kind of gushy word. They don't like that. But they say it like a lady now in the middle class home, you'll hear most of the time she says it as an expletive. It's out of her mouth before she knows. She said, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. If she drops something, oh, the shit, like the broccoli, shit. Thank you. Shit. I won the Grammy, man, for the comedy album. Isn't that groovy? I really didn't think I would, man. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you, man. That's sweet. That's sweet, man. Thank you. Thank you, man. Hey! Did I get shorter? Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you very much, man. For that and for the Grammy, man, because that's based on people liking it, man. Yeah, that's okay, man. I just let that go, man. Got my Grammy, I can let my hair hang down, man. So, now the word shit is okay for the man. At work, he can say it like crazy, mostly figuratively. Get that shit out of here, will you? I don't want to see that shit anymore. I can't cut that shit, buddy. I've had that shit up to here. And I think you're full of shit myself, man. He don't know shit from Shinola, you know that? Always wondered how the Shinola people felt about that phrase, huh? Hi, I'm the new man from Shinola. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. How are you? Well, I don't know whether to shit or wind my watch. Guess I'll shit on my watch. Oh, these shit is gonna hit the fan. Built like a brick shit house. He's up Schitt's Creek. He's at it. He is, I'm sorry. Hot shit, holy shit, tough shit, eat shit, shit-eating grin. Oh, whoever thought of that was ill. Really. He had a shit-eating grin. He had a what? Shit on a stick? Shit in a handbag, I always like that. He ain't worth shit in a handbag. Shitty. He acted real shitty. You know what I mean? I got the money back, but a real shitty attitude. Hey, he had a shit fit. Wow. Shit fit. Whew. Glad I wasn't there. All the animals, bullshit, horse shit, cow shit, rat shit, bat shit. First time I heard bat shit, I really came apart. Guy in Oklahoma, Boggs, said it, man. Ah, bat shit! Bear reminded me of that last night. I'd gone past some snake shit and slicker and owl shit. Get your shit together. Shoulda get off the pot. I got a shitload full of them. I got a shit pot full, right? Shit head, shit heel, shit in your heart, shit for brains, shit face. Hey. Always try to think of how that could have originated. The first guy to say that, you know? Somebody got drunk and fell in some shit, you know? Hey, I'm shit face. Shit face tonight. Anyway, enough of that shit. The big one, the word fuck. That's the one that hangs them up the most. Because in a lot of cases, that's the very act that hangs them up the most. So it's natural that the word would have the same effect. It's a great word, fuck, nice word, easy word, cute word, kind of. Easy word to say, one syllable, short U. Fuck, boom, you know, it's easy. Starts with a nice soft sound, f. Ends with a k, right? Little something for everyone, fuck. Good word, kind of a proud word, too. Who are you? I am fuck. Fuck of the mountain. Tune in again next week to Fuck of the Mountain. It's an interesting word, too, because it's got a double kind of a life, personality, dual, you know, whatever the right phrase is. It leads a double life, the word fuck. First of all, it means sometimes, most of the time, fuck. What does it mean? It means to make love, right? We're going to make love, hey? We're going to fuck. Hey, we're going to fuck. We're going to make love. Right? We're going to fuck and make love, right? And it also means the beginning of life. It's the act that begins life. So there's the word hanging around with words like love and life. And yet, on the other hand, it's also a word that we really use to hurt each other with, man. It's a heavy. It's one that you save toward the end of the argument, right? So you finally can't make, fuck you, man. That's it. Fuck. I don't want to hear you. Fuck. Stupid fuck. Fuck you and everybody that looks like you, man. But it'd be nice to change the movies that we already have and substitute the word fuck for the word kill, wherever we could. And some of those movie cliches would change a little bit. Mad fucker still on the loose. Stop me before I fuck again. Fuck the ump, fuck the ump, fuck the ump, fuck the ump, fuck the ump. Easy on the clutch, Bill, you'll fuck that engine again. The other shit one was, I don't give a shit. Like it's worth something, you know? I don't give a shit.
Hey, well, I don't take no shit, you know what I mean? You know why I don't take no shit? Because I don't give a shit. If I give a shit, I would have to pack shit. But I don't pack no shit because I don't give a shit. You wouldn't shit me, would you?
That was a joke when you were a kid with the worm looking out the bird's ass.
You wouldn't shit me, would you?
It's an 8-year-old joke, but a good one. The additions to the list. I found 3 more words that had to be put on the list of words you could never say on television, and they were fart, turd, and twat. Those 3. Fart, we've talked about, it's harmless, it's like tits, it's a cutie word, no problem. Turd, you can't say, but who wants to, you know? The subject never comes up on the panel, so I don't worry about that one. Now, the word twat is an interesting word. Twat.
Hey, right, the twat.
Twat is an interesting word because it's the only one I know of, the only slang word applying to a part of the sexual anatomy that doesn't have another meaning to it. Like snatch, box, and pussy all have other meanings, man. Even in a Walt Disney movie, you can say, we're going to snatch that pussy and put him in a box and bring him on the airplane. Yes, indeed, it's true. Everybody loves it. But twat stands alone, man. As it should. And 2-way words. Ass is okay, providing you're riding into town on a religious feast day. You can't say, up your ass. You can say stuff it, and there are certain things you can say. It's weird, but you just come so close. Before I cut, and I want to thank you for listening to my words, man, fellow space travelers.
Thank you for listening. We'd also like to thank our History with the Szilagys Patreon patrons, Ed Chinevere, Laura Dull, Kris Hill, and Susan Capuzzi-De Clerck. Their contributions help us to have the time to research and write what you're hearing. You can help us just like they do with a monthly subscription at patreon.com/historywiththeszilagys. Also, thank you to Mark White for the awesome show art and Zach Tripp for the wonderful closing music. Please subscribe in your favorite podcast player, and don't forget to rate and review us there as well. And while you're at it, check out the rest of the great shows on the BQN Collective. We'd love to hear what you think. If you'd like to reach out, you can find our network on Twitter at BQN Podcasts, and this podcast in particular at History Szilagyi. You can also talk about any and all of the BQN podcasts in our Facebook group, the BQN Collective. And last but not least, you can find me on Twitter at The Goddess Livia. That's TheGoddessLivia.
And me at Jason Dark Elf. We'd love to hear topic suggestions. What would you like to learn on Caffeinated History?